All right, welcome everybody. We're live here with Racelogic Chassis School, and we got Mr. Chad Thrash on tonight. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to jump on here, Chad. I can see how many viewers we got, so we'll wait a little bit. But good to have you on tonight. Uh, Appreciate your time. I know you got wife and family and kids and stuff going on, so I know it's hard for you to take a little extra time with shop and everything you got going on.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Chad, we'll do a little background. Look like we got quite a few people jumping on now. So kind of tell the viewers, because we'll have some kind of IMCA world, everything. Kind of tell everybody when you started and to where you're at today.
Uh, like my whole racing career where I started,
Yeah, I mean, just kind of give us a little background of yourself, and how long you've been racing and that kind of stuff.
I started racing go-karts when I was 15. Did that for 3 years, running up down the road doing that. Then we built my street stock with my dad. We built it. Did that in 2018, raced go-karts, and then in 2018, raced street stocks. In 2004, we bought a late model from my cousin Rodney Wing and started super late model racing. And I still do that to this day. And me and my uncle built my first street stock, and me and him always built cars together, having fun and stuff. And he kind of taught me to do what I do now. And 2000, I guess in 2018, a good friend of mine named Richie Beasley called me talking about wanting to build a street stock. He had got out of racing and quit racing for the 250th time in his racing career. He decided he was going to build a street stock, and I told him, well, I've been wanting to build one just to have fun with and just to do it again. And we started talking about it and ordered all the stuff to do it and built one, and we started racing it in 2019, and ever since then it's been wide open. I mean, it's just been mind blowing how much this has took off for us.
Well, I know a few years ago you decided to quit your full time job, whatever it was at that time, to do the racing deal full time. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I know it's a big step, to quit what you've done, your regular job, and to go in something a little bit unknown, So I'm sure it's a big step for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a construction guy that's I guess my trade, I guess you'd call it. And then, like I said, we built that car in 2019 and started racing it, and we had a lot of success with it, and sold it and used the money we got for it to start this little old company, and it took off way faster than we needed it to, and got us behind right off the get-go. We're still behind, trying to get our head above water. Caught up building cars and stuff, working on people's cars, and it's been, like I said, it's been a whirlwind of a ride so far.
Yeah, yeah. I know Street Stock Nationals kind of put you to the next level. How many times you won that now, Chad?
I've won it twice.
Won it twice. Was it back to back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And for the people that don't know out there, Street Stock Nationals at Why Not I'd say it's y'all's biggest race of the year. I know some pay more money, but I would say when you say that's kind of the Super Nationals of IMCA world, when you say that's the case with the Nationals.
Yes, correct. I mean, I think it was 105 cars showed up for it last year to race it, and luckily, ever since we built our first car in 2019, we have at least won a qualifier every year since we started doing this. So it's been pretty amazing and stuff. And yeah, but the amount of cars that show up for that deal is pretty mind blowing watching it.
Yeah, I've been. I think I've been 3 or 4 years. A year it rained out. I mean, it's about an 8 or 9 hour drive for me, and I've been all over the country, and that's one of my favorite races every year. I go there and I go Super Nationals, and I'm kind of a street stock guy at heart, as far as a fan, and watched you race a couple of years, and I've done these classes for several years with Justin, and then last year we didn't do one, and I was approached by Dave Hammond. He said, "Man, when you gonna when you gonna do another one?" I said, "Well, who do I get?" I said, I think I think Chad's the guy. Anyway, Dave Hammond approached you and about doing it. You said, "Yeah, you was all on board," and then we kind of got together this year early, and man, it's been crazy. I got people wanting to pay me right now to get in the class. So we'll kind of move on into that a little bit, Chad. I know this will be your first one, but we talked, and about how I do things at Racelogic, and you're like, man, that's something I want to do. I want to help racers, and this is a way to kind of give back in the wintertime, one weekend to help these guys out here that need help. And I know you're kind of looking forward to that, and you've already come up with some ideas what we can do at the class and all. So you want to share a little bit of that, kind of how you see this going this year when we do this class?
I mean, my deal is I focus on the basics for everybody. I mean, I don't get all out into the crazy left field setup stuff that everybody around is trying to do and all that. I mean, my personal opinion is I just want to make people focus on the basics and focus on making sure your race car is prepared to go to the racetrack when you get to the racetrack.
Right.
Winning's made in the shop, not at the racetrack.
Yeah. Chad's funny. I think we was talking off air there. I think it's 28 years I've done them, and I've done these classes with the Billy Moyers of the world to guys that you don't know, and they all won multiple races and hundreds and hundreds of races, and they all say the same thing, and that's not always what guys want to hear sitting in the classroom. They think there's some magic dust that you sprinkled on that car to make it fast, and probably 80% of it is you're prepared before you left the shop. I mean, but and that's what wins races, and we done the IMCA class last year. I know you said you watched a little bit of it with the Murdy family, and that's what they talked about. I mean, that kid won. I think he won about 80,000 last year in the IMCA car and about 100 the year before. And it's all, it's not that he's doing anything magic, but they're ready when they leave the shop, and he's a good wheel man. But I mean, I think what you said, a lot of it all comes back to being prepared before you leave and make sure everything's right, nothing's bent, that kind of stuff.
Right, correct. Yeah, I got this Caden Jackson's running for Rookie of the Year in the Ultimate Street Stock Series this year, and he goes in the truck with me, and we was at Livonia this past weekend, and he kind of got into the wall a little bit in the race, and he said, well, I don't think I hit it with the right front. And I said, well, let's just take it apart anyway to look at it. Well, we took it apart. The spindle was bent, a ball joint was bent, and the lower control arm was bent. And I said, you still think you didn't hit it with the right front? And he was like, well, I didn't think I did. And I was like, that's why you always take it apart.
Right.
That's the only way you're going to know that it's right.
Right. Well, I know, there's a few comments and stuff on here, and I'll say right now, if you guys got any questions for Chad, anything particular he can answer, any tech questions, that's pretty simple. I'll be glad to relay it to him, and he said he'd try to help you if he could, if it's something that ain't going to take 30 minutes to answer. But I know we're definitely going to have your car there.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. There you are. You jumped offline just a second, but I know you said you'd have your car there. You'll have every part and piece that we need. Hammond will probably bring his front clip down. The metric clip. So we're going to have everything that you need there. We'll have a booklet. We'll have all that kind of stuff. I mean, we don't know an exact weekend yet, but it will definitely be at Chad's shop in Meridian, Mississippi. And I did look on the map, and there ain't much. There's not a lot of airports close to Meridian, Mississippi, but you can get there.
Yeah, I mean, the actual airport that you're going to fly into in Meridian is right as a crow flies is probably half a mile from me at the most.
Right.
Straight through the woods.
Right.
They fly over the shop every day.
Well, that's where we'll have it at. We're looking sometime late January. I mean, we'll know more about midsummer. Hopefully around the Street Stock Nationals time or right after is when we'll have complete details on cost and all. And we will once again have it online. Kate Dillon will be in, and we'll video it like we've done all my other classes. And then, something really cool. And I know Chad knows this, but we video it. And if you attend the class, you get the class free. So you can go back in midsummer. I got guys messaging me all the time. They're like, man, I'm sure glad I got that video because they forgot something on the front end or whatever it was. Well, they can go back to the video and, rewatch it all year round. So if they miss something or thinking about whatever it is, they can go back and watch it. So that's something we started doing a few years ago. And that really helped guys who attend to be able to go back and, rewind and fast forward or whatever and watch the class again, So we'll definitely do that again. I mean, I know right now, definitely, Dave Hammond will be there. I'm 99.9% sure Ben Baker will be there. He's done everything I've ever done. He's a big part of what I've done. One of the most knowledgeable guys in racing. And I spoke with Robbie Bilbrey the other day. He had a lot of his guys ask about it. We'll have him on board for sure. And I more than likely have Wade Cross. I know Chad hadn't really dealt with Wade a lot because he does a lot of stuff up north, but Wade's been doing classes with me for the last 10 or 12 years and a great guy, knowledgeable. So, and if I hope I ain't speaking out of turn, but I'm pretty sure Brandon Hightower will be in the building too. Am I right about that, Chad?
Yes. He said he was going to come. Yes, sir.
So, I think he builds all your motors and does a lot of work. I kind of was following him, looking at some stuff. So we're going to have everybody in the building that you're going to need to get better. And there's no doubt, I said it from the day one when I talked to you, that this will sell out probably within a week. I mean, I don't know, but I'll give everybody about a month notice that when it's going to go live. That way you can save your money, whatever you got to do, make plans, and then we'll go live whatever day I pick, usually sometime in September. I don't like to do it too far out because I don't want to take a man's money 4 or 5 months ahead of the class. I just don't feel like that's the right thing to do business-wise. So I'll wait a couple months out, and then, we'll sell it out. And so somebody just asked me right here, and I'll jump this question up here real quick. But anyway, somebody just asked me when would the registration start. So I've had a lot of people ask me. I've had guys that's been the last 5 or 6 years straight. I think I was telling Chad that every time I go somewhere, they're there. They want to be there. So,
right.
But I'm hoping to start registration. I mean, I don't have a certain date, but sometime September to October. Hopefully by August at the Nationals, we'll know more of what the Florida schedule looks like. So you'll know what schedule that you've got. And what people don't understand, and I do, that time of the year is the busiest time of the year for you building race cars. So it's a big job for you to stop your shop 2 or 3 days early and get it clean and get everything ready. So I do appreciate that. And I know people there will appreciate it too, because there's a lot of work got to go in. You got cars scattered all over the shop, and then you got to stop what you're doing and, move everything out so we can do this. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think it'll be a great deal. I know we talked and you said that you definitely wanted to try to help racers. So I think it'll be really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole name of the game for me, is being able to help racers. I mean, I got guys in South Carolina, North Carolina, people in New York, people that don't even have my cars that I talk to and help. And I mean, I love helping people, because when I started racing, I didn't have a whole lot of people helping me. I just had to learn a lot of seat of my pants stuff. And then as I progressed on into racing and stuff, and was fortunate enough to get known with some people like, Mark Richards and Steve Baker at Rocket Chassis. Only kind of super late model I've ever had has been a Rocket, and they've always been able to help me whenever I needed problem or had problems and needed help. They've helped me, and that's helped me a lot as a racer. And I've kind of built my business here around their business on what they do at Rocket. And like, my phone's always open. It takes a lot of time for me during the day a lot, but I never don't answer. And if I don't, it's because I'm on the phone with somebody else, and I always call right back.
Right.
And
that is important. Chad, I got a question here that's a good one. I don't know if you can see it on the bottom of your screen. Can you read that by chance?
Oh, I don't even know how to do this.
It should just pop up. Can you see it or no?
No, sir.
Okay. The question, maybe I can only see it on my end. It says, what all do you use your Hammond setup plates for? I'm thinking about getting some. So that's a good question right there, I think.
The uses for Hammond plates is unlimited so far that I've used them. You can use them to square the car, set toe. Like I put them on. I have a set of scale stands I built, and we modified them to be able to use them to pull the car down and dynamic and stuff, and use them doing that, checking to see how much, checking the square of the rear end and stuff. Why is that dynamic with the Hammond plate? Checking bump steer with them. It's unreal the amount of stuff you can do with those things.
Yeah. I've been around Dave enough to know that that deal that he made is and you can't hurt them. That's the thing. They don't wear out like a ball joint or something. You can just keep using them over and over. And I ain't here to push Dave's stuff, but he does have some good products. And I think if you ain't got a set. I watched him do it, and I was pretty shocked. I won't even say whose car, but we was at a class a couple of years ago. Somebody had won several national championships. And Dave put them on the rear end, and the guy's rear end was towed in at the front.
Right.
And he didn't even know it. You know what I mean? Because he never had the plates on there. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think it tells you some stuff that might shock you at times, I bet.
Correct. Yeah, they will. And I mean, it's just simple and easy to bolt them on there and check stuff with them. And once you check it, once you get the car set up and you put those on there and put it back on the ground, you can take a bunch of measurements from the chassis without the tires being in the way and turn around. All right, halfway through the year and something's not adding up right, you can put them back on there and check those measurements. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to find where it's at.
Right. This is kind of open-ended question here. I don't really know what you're talking about, but we'll see how in depth you want to get on it. Somebody asked about left rear shock compression. I'm sure that's an open, I'm sure what type of car and all, but is there something that you like to stay within range on the Cruiser stuff that you're doing?
Oh, I mean, my stuff it's pretty standard. Like a lot of people have, like I know there's people that's come in my shop and bought cars for me, and there's like, all right, where's the shock package at? I'm like, it's on the car. And they was like, there's got to be more than just 4. And I was like, no, there's just 4. What do you need more for? Whenever you're changing shocks at the racetrack, there's another problem you need to be working on besides the shock. But my compression left rear it's not as high as most people's. I'll go into that kind of depth with it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we won't get into too many rabbit holes. And like I said, all that I know will be covered at the class. I know you'll get more into depth on every corner of it. Let's see here. Got another one. This is pretty metric G body. He said he's loose entry, over rotates, slides the right rear, and lacks drive off. What things should I try to look for? And that may be an IMCA world question there, Chad. So maybe a little bit different, but I'm sure you might give him a little bit of advice.
Well, I mean, you got to think, is he loose on the gas or loose off the gas? Oh, I mean, if he's loose on the gas, I mean, that could be fixed with stagger. Take stagger out of the car. If he's loose off the gas, that'd be a right rear spring. You put more right rear spring in it and it'll tighten it up. So,
he said loose entry, so I'm assuming off the gas. Right, I would think.
I would just put more right rear spring
And
in.
this I'm sorry, I think you kind of answered that. That was a good question and it was a good answer. And this is something me and you really haven't talked about either. But somebody said, would the class be beneficial for a factory stock guy? I know them are pretty big down your way.
Correct.
What's your thought on that, Chad? Can we touch them guys and help them? Because I don't want somebody to be there that we can't help. It ain't worth it to me because I can sell out whether we got a factory stock guy there or not. If he wants to be there and we can help him, I want him to be there.
Yeah, I mean, the factory stock stuff, actually, the only difference between our stuff and the factory stock stuff is the front suspension part of it. And we can have one here because, I mean, I have one I built we're building now that we could have here. I'm sure they wouldn't mind bringing it over here. We could have it with my Cruiser car here with that factory stock car here and kind of cover some stuff on it, for people that want to do that. That's not a problem for me.
Okay, that'll be good. I mean, and I'd wondered that. I figured I thought about it a while back, and it just now came up. So I think that answered that question there on whether we can help them.
Yes, sir.
I knew. At the end of the day, that's what I say. I've got a lot of guys come to my IMCA stuff. These are metric G body cars. I mean, you can do a little bit more in your world than they can do up north, but at the end of the day, it's a metric car. So like you said the other night, there ain't a whole hell of a lot you can do to them. You can do a lot.
I mean, there's people doing stuff with these things people come to me about people doing things with them, with the rear suspension stuff over, and I'm like, if it could be perfected anymore, GM would have done it 30 years ago. The best thing to do is not mess with all that stuff. Just put it the way it's supposed to be. Maybe do a little bit of stuff to it, and just concentrate on your setup and driving it. I mean, you can do more with air pressure on these things than you can anything else.
Let's see here. We got another question. Rear percentage. Let's see here, because I can't always see who's posting this, but he said rear weight percentage, a crate versus a built motor.
I run the same either way. I done got to the point now whenever I take the built motor out of my car, I don't even take the weight off of it. I still weigh 3,000 pounds. So, I mean, I don't even change it anymore. I just leave it alone because, I mean, if it's working, why mess with it? And regardless of what horsepower you got. With a crate motor, most time you're going to be running around there wide open anyway, doing all the poor little thing can do. So, I mean, I don't even fool with it.
Yeah, that was a great question right there. Uh, let's see here. I was afraid we are going to get a bunch of questions. I won't keep you real long, but he says, why do you run different spring lengths when we have jack bolts? That's an open-ended question, I think.
Well, a lot of it is you're running different spring lengths because you're running different spring rates, and you're trying to keep the spring table as even as possible to make the car more roll more evenly, in my opinion. To make the springs stay loaded the same.
All right, let's see if we got anybody else here. I may have skipped a question or two. That's kind of, I don't really know this question, and it's not even in your world, but it says, what spring size would you run in a limited? I'm assuming a limited modified, like a sport mod type deal.
Right.
I'm not really sure what he meant there and what corner he meant it on, so
right.
I'm not even sure if we can really answer that question or not. If
right.
you got something else to it, send a message back into us, and we'll try to grab it before we get off here in a little while. This is a funny one. You'll laugh. You got some of your buddies chiming in here. Where can I get green wheel covers like Chad runs?
Who sent that?
I don't know. Let me look. I can look on my Facebook.
Will sent it?
Yeah, they're probably somebody giving you a hard time. But
probably. I figured all my buddies were going to start messing with me because I was messing with them real bad yesterday on some stuff they was posting. But those come from ATC bolts.
All right. That answered that question right there if anybody's looking for them. Another question here real quick. 20-inch left rear versus a 16-inch left rear.
I prefer a 16. The 20's got too much spring load in it, and it makes the car stay unloaded too much.
Okay, that's a good question, good answer. There's just some silly questions here. They're giving you a hard time, but we'll wait and see if anybody else has got anything before we get off. But yeah, Chad, we'll like I said, somebody else says, when does class registration start? Yeah. If you didn't jump on earlier, it's going to start sometime in the September range. I will be at the Nationals, and me and Chad will sit down and look at what date works for everybody. A lot of it, he said, is going to depend on whether he goes to East Bay or not. I think of what time we can do it. Let's see here. They still giving you a hard time?
Probably.
I know who this kid is. I wish you could help him a little more. He said, what spring rate would you run on the right side of a limited modified? I don't know if you've had much dealings. I mean, I know they're a metric frame and all, but I don't know if you've had much dealings with them guys or not.
If it's the right rear, I'd be on a 13-inch 225.
Okay.
I have a guy that I actually helped with one. Tracy Dimmy Jr. is his name.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good racer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yep. Good. I've heard of him.
Good people.
Let's see what else here. Weight ballast placement, metric car. Low, high, middle of the car. I'm sure that's what he's asking.
I mean, it really depends on where you want your percentages to be on where it's going to be. But in my opinion, you never mount lead below the center line of the camshaft, and never below or never behind the fuel cell.
Yeah, what do they call it? Like a pendulum weight or whatever. Yeah, I've heard that. Hey, I may not know a lot, but I've been through I ought to be able to teach one of these classes I've sat through. I've learned a lot.
Right.
But what is droop? That's another question.
That depends on how much you want in the car. I mean, that's just how much the left rear falls out from under the car wise at attitude.
Yeah. Okay. This guy keeps on. I'm probably going to leave that question off the air. It wasn't real bad, but I don't know what it means, and it's probably something that we don't need to discuss right now.
There's no telling who's sending stuff in yet. Y'all need to go do something else besides that.
This is a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing these and getting guys on, But yeah, I mean, we'll, and we're going to be limited on seating too. I mean, we hadn't got a head count yet, so That's another thing. We're only going to take what we can manage comfortably. I've never been one. I ain't greedy, so I ain't going to fit 200 in there. I know there's been some classes across the country where they cram everybody they can get in the door. I'm not going to be that guy. If we can't help, you can't help 200 guys. You just can't. It's just then it becomes like a college class, and they can't ask questions and be involved. So, excuse me, we're going to keep it with a limited number. That makes sense for everybody until we kind of, measure your shop out and all. We don't know that exact number yet, but that's something else. Let's see. Is there a certain degree of angle of rake on the frame, front to rear, like with a car sitting statically?
I shoot for 2.5 inches.
2.5 inches. That answered your question. Hey
Yes,
guys,
sir.
if you ain't noticed, Chad ain't left one question he didn't answer. And I told him, we talked about this from day one. I said, Chad, if you're not willing to give good information, I don't want to do this. And he said, Brian, I'll tell everything I know. He said, I ain't got no hidden secrets. So I'm just telling you that this is the real deal. This ain't somebody coming there to tell you how to set your front end. We're going to give you good information in this class.
Correct.
Let's see. Pretty good compliment. I don't take compliments very good, but if anyone's on the fence, don't be. Brian's classes are first class. So I appreciate that comment from somebody, and I try to keep it that way and keep good people involved with them.
Yes, sir.
And whoever's asking all these questions said, I plan on being there. I need it, as you can see. So whoever's asked a lot of them questions, and I appreciate that. Me and Chad talked about that off air. I get a lot of people want help, and they've never bought the class or never came in person. And I don't really feel like if I'm going to call Chad on the phone and asking a question for somebody, at least help us out by attending the class,
I was like for me, when you sent me the login for the IMCA class, I was amazed at the professionalism of the video, the way Miss Kate edited it and broke it down into each little segment. That's just, for lack of a better word, that's just badass to me the way that is. Because like you said, if somebody was there and they kind of was on the fence about something that was said and they couldn't remember exactly what it was, they could just skip straight to that and not have to watch the whole entire class. And that is awesome to me. That's just
Kate's first class, man. She's been doing these about 4 years now, and she got the best cameras money can buy, and she does a great job, and it's been really good,
Right.
Like I said, I think the biggest thing is there's a lot of information crammed in a day and a half or so, so if you can go back 6 months from now or whatever, and I still, I know when guys log on, and I still see them log on and watch something over again, so they're going back to whatever section it was that they couldn't remember and watching it. So, that is definitely good.
Yeah, that's cool to me. I mean, that would, to me, like, even if I wasn't doing the class, that would, for me, if I was trying to learn some more stuff, I would go to the class just so I could have the video aspect of it for later on. Like I had a guy that helped me. I mean, it's a different class. I'm going to bring it up, but I just want to take, for example, like a little kid was helping me when we was racing super late models and stuff, which I still race super late models. He went to a class at Racelogic class, or not Racelogic, it was
Race-wise
that Mark Bush does at Rocket. He went to the last one they did and brought a 3-ring binder that is like 5 inches thick with stuff in it. And I still, to this day, will go look in that binder at stuff. If I'm kind of confused about something, I'll go look in it at stuff and try to figure something out. Because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'll take out here and draw it out on the floor with a piece of soapstone and stuff and see what it's supposed to be doing better than I can think about it.
Right. Yeah, that's what we were talking about that earlier, So let's see. Definitely going. We'll throw in a couple more questions. Let's see here. Yeah, if you can't make the class, it'll be available later through a video. So, yeah, like the IMCA class, we sold out. I'm telling you, your class is going to sell out. They're going to be some guys mad because they couldn't get in. So I'm telling everybody right now, it's going to happen in January. We're going to open registration sometime in September. So save your money, be looking at flights or driving or whatever. And I will let you know a month ahead of time. I told Chad that earlier, that when the registration will open, So that gives guys plenty of time this summer to say, because I know it's expensive. I mean, I get it. I've kept the price down for years. People's in business says, Brian, won't you charge more? Well, you know what? I don't do this for a living, Chad.
Right.
I don't have to. I make a living every day. I do it because I love it. I do make money. I ain't gonna lie about that. But I want to get it to where the Saturday night racer can go and maybe he was running 10th, 15th place car. Well, now he's in the top 5. I mean, that's my goal. Maybe he's 3rd or 4th. Now maybe he's battling you for a win now and then or something.
Right.
That has been my whole goal when I started this, because there's just not enough good information out there. Giving the guys, you can go to your next door neighbor at the racetrack and, maybe he knows something, maybe he don't, so I try to get guys that win races. The old saying, Chad, well, wins on Saturday, sells on Monday. And that's just the truth,
Right.
So there's a reason I came for Chad Thrash, because, the guy wins races and he's always up front and you're willing to give him information, good guy. I mean, there's a lot of things I look at more than winning races, because there's not everybody that wins races is a good person either, so,
right. Well,
but anyway,
and talking about the top 5 stuff, like when I ran for Rookie of the Year in the state series in my super late model, like Chris Wall, the intimidator they call him, was winning everything around here, and I was struggling, barely making races and stuff, and he come and helped me a little bit, and we started running top 10, and then we started running top 5, and he said, well, you hang out in that top 5, eventually you're going to win one, because everybody in the top 5's got really good race cars, and it's anybody's night any given night in the top 5. And I mean, that's the truth in racing. I mean, if you're running in top 5 every week, eventually you're going to win a race, because you're going to be there when something happens to the leader. And it's in racing, it's inevitable something's going to happen. Like us, we've kind of struggled this year. The monkey's on our back. We've had a great years the last 2 years, and been very lucky to win what we have. And I mean, this year right now, it's just our turn to carry the monkey. I mean, it's just part of racing. I've raced long enough to know that it's going to happen to you one year where just nothing seems to go right. So
yeah, you're right. It's hard to stay on. It's hard to win every race or whatever. I mean, I know you said you had some electrical trouble, seemed like, or something, just some crazy stuff that you can do all the maintenance you want, but you can't tell that MSD box will go out or whatever your problem was. So yeah, them things can happen. I'll throw a couple of these up. It's pretty crazy. I had somebody ask if they can pre-register. Man, I can't. Listen, I said it, and I told Chad, and I think Chad will appreciate this. I do not. I could take 50 registration fees right now, but I'm not going to take a man's money 6 or 8 months from the class. It's not the right thing to do. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't run business that way. I do appreciate it. I wish you could pre-register. I promise you, I'm going to give you plenty of time to know when it's going to open up. And like I said, it's going to be limited. I don't know. It may be limited to 50 people. It may be 100, but we're not going to overload this deal to where we can't help everybody in the room. And because I know this will be Chad's first one, but these other guys that's involved, are you reading some of the questions?
I got a text message.
I'm sure it's something crazy, but
it's wanting to know what Chad Thrash runs his deck height on his street stock. Depends on when they check it.
There you go. Hey, it ain't cheating unless you get caught.
That's correct.
But anyway, I wish I could take pre-registration. I just don't feel like it's right for me to do it for 1 or 2 guys. But if you contact me now and tell me that you want in, I'll try my damnedest to make sure that you're one of them that gets in. I mean, I've got guys, like I said, that's messaged me since we announced it a few weeks ago, that's begged me to get in, So I want people that want to be there and that want to learn. That's who we want, Chad. That's who you want. That's who the other guys that's going to be involved in this. I mean, like you said, I've done this long enough and got the right people involved in it that we're going to do it the right way. And this ain't a sales pitch. I know some guys went to another class last year, and I ain't going to say who because I don't do that. But it was all about, you need to buy this shock, you need to buy this spring, you need to buy my whatever. We're not going to do that. This ain't what this is about. Chad ain't going to be there to sell you a race car. Dave Hammond ain't going to be there to sell you setup plates. They'll talk to you about it. Ben Baker will probably, I don't know, I know you've watched a little bit of the class. He'll tell you that Longacre or whatever other brand X is a good product. He's not there to push AFCO products. I mean, naturally that's who he works for, and he wants you to buy their stuff. But this ain't a sales pitch. I don't get paid by anybody. And Chad probably knows this. He may not. I've been approached to have a title sponsored, and I won't do it. And the reason I don't do it, because I'm not going to answer to nobody else.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to answer to whoever, tire brand or chassis brand or whatever, because if you take money from them, then they're going to want you to push their stuff, and I don't have to do that. So
Yes, sir.
I don't want this to be this ain't a sales pitch.
Correct. Yeah.
We're going to help a guy, and we hope he learns something and goes back to able to apply it and have a good year. Let's see. A couple of questions that's pretty cool. Guys said it's the best class I've ever been to, talking about some of the prior ones. It's been fun and a lot of note taking. So let's see. Chad, explain your consulting program. That's probably a good question for you.
Okay. Let's see. Mr. Dave texted me.
They don't tell him what he said. He sat there watching.
I ain't putting it on there.
No.
My consulting program is I'll tell everybody, it's $1,000 a year from the day you pay for it. The day you pay for it is good for a year. Some people do it from January 1st to December 31st. I'm the guy that does it from the day you pay for it to that day the next year. And it consists of, I'll send you setup stuff. I got a booklet I have for my cars that have every spring, every percentage, the wheel weights, wheel loads, tire pressures, front end settings, every bit of it in a little setup book that that we made, and we can email it to you. And it just whatever. And then whenever you're at the racetrack racing, my wife usually has my phone and you can text her or call. And if I'm on the racetrack, she will come and get me as soon as I come off and say, hey, such and such asking this, and I'll give her an idea of what to do to make the car better for you through the phone.
Okay.
It just makes me available 24/7 pretty much.
Yeah, your wife probably, like mine, she probably loves you because your phone never shuts off.
Correct, yes. That's right. That's right.
But I've been married 28 years, so mine's kind of used to mine ringing on a, different type deal, but I have a business where my phone never shuts off too, so I get it. But, and I'm sure you're never going to take more than that you can take care of either,
Yes,
you
sir.
probably will never have too many out there to where you can't take care of people that are paying you.
Right. And luckily, the people I help, I help them on the phone during the week. And then most of the time, I tell them some stuff that I'll learn at the racetrack one week, and I'll text everybody about it. And they go to the racetrack the next week and race. And I really have very few that ever text me during racing, like on the weekends while we're racing. They'll text me, on Mondays or Tuesdays and tell me how they did and stuff like that.
Right. Somebody asked, do you use load sticks?
Yes, sir, I do.
I figured you did. Everybody I've seen in racing anymore, and I'm sure we'll have them there. It sounds like you got your own set. I know Ben carries them too. So yeah, I'm sure we'll play with them some. Last few years, I'm not no expert, but last few years in my classes I've done, everybody has used them at some point. That's
right.
Something that they do.
And to be honest, I've had one 3 years, and I used it the first time last week. So
okay.
Me and Mr. Dave talked about that at length last week, and I'm kind of an old school stickler like him. You can learn just as much on the scales as you can with that load stick. But the load stick, the best thing about it is if you want to change a spring at the racetrack, you can put the wheel load right back where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's where they were. I remember last year at the IMCA class, with the Murdies, that's kind of what they said. As much as they race,
mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they probably need it. They run in 3 or 4 nights a week a lot of times, so
right.
I'm sure it's a helpful tool for them.
Like me, like my car last year was probably on the scales twice all year long, and we probably raced the street stock. I'm gonna say we probably raced 50 times with it last year, and it was only on the scales twice. But I had Mr. Dave's the plates for Mr. Dave, and I put them on, and we set it on the ground. I have a bunch of measurements, like I said, of pickup points and stuff for the car, and I could get under it and measure all that stuff about once every 2 weeks, and normally it was right on unless something was bent.
Right. Let's see if we got any of the last. I'm gonna try to get you off here. Your wife's probably over in the corner mad at me because you've been
She
on.
needs to be cooking me some supper.
Well, I had a bologna sandwich a while ago. That's what we eat in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Dave says I eat yard bird. That's what he calls it in Arkansas. But no, I'm honestly I'm looking forward to it. I love that street stock class. Got into it several years ago, right before it really got big, and I enjoyed Street Stock Nationals. If you ain't ever been, you need to go. I mean, it needs to be a race on your. I've skipped the Topless 100 a couple. It used to be the same weekend, and the Topless is 3 or 4 hours from me. And anyway, I've skipped it to go to the Nationals, so that's a great event. I know every year it's big and usually over 100 cars, so you need to make plans to go to that. But let's see if we got anybody got anything last minute before we jump off here. I don't want to keep Chad on too long. Got a pretty long list of questions. Hopefully, I got most of the legit ones answered. You can go through them after a while and probably laugh at some of these.
I'm sure some of them people I know.
Yeah,
they've been texting me while we've been talking some questions. It's funny.
Yeah, a lot of them are scared to put their name out there. They don't want anybody to know who it is. Yeah. But and I'll tell you what we done this year while I'm waiting to see if anybody's got a question. And it was actually pretty good. We had some guys actually write questions down that didn't feel comfortable speaking, and they would give it to somebody during break, and then they would call the question out. And I'm good with that. You know, I'm not. I always say I got a face for radio. I don't have a face to be in front of a crowd to look at. So I'm that guy that probably, wouldn't ask a question. So that's something that people can do also.
Yes, sir.
If they want to.
That's what I am. I'll get up in front of everybody, go to answering questions and stuff, and start stuttering because I get kind of tongue tied myself.
Yeah, when you got 100 people staring at you or whatever we're going to have, it can be a little bit. We'll answer this one question here, then I'll kind of wrap up. H500 tire pressures on a 3,200-pound car. Lefts and rights, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 20 on the right, 15 on the left.
Okay. Good. As you can see, he don't stutter. He knows what he's running, and you're telling it. So, yeah, we'll next week, which I'll have the Murdy family on. I'll have Dallin and Damon Murdy. I know Chad's seen them, heard of them. Great people. Done a great class with them guys. We plan on doing that again. I told Chad, and I throw it out there. I hadn't even asked Dallin, but I'd like to see him run the Street Stock Nationals. Kid's a wheel man. I watch him run. So anybody's got a car out there, holler at me. I'll see if I can get him down there to drive it during the Nationals. But he's won about every IMCA racer is to win, and I think he won Bristol when they had IMCA stuff there. But anyway, we'll have him on next week, and then the week after we'll have Dave Hammond on. That's always entertaining to get Dave on. I'll keep him.
I'm gonna have to remember that so I can text messages like he is me right now.
Yeah. I'll keep him. I'll keep him under watch pretty good because he can get out there. No, Dave's been doing these with me about 6 or 7 years, and he brings a lot to the table. He really wants to help racers, and I think everything he builds and what he does, it's always try to help a guy out, make them better. Chad, you got anything last minute you want to throw out there about the class or your upcoming year or anything that we need to talk about before we jump off?
I'm looking forward to it. I actually taught at the local community college here for 2 years, the construction program, and it's fun. My wife was actually a nursing instructor. It's fun. Like we both talk about it. It's fun watching you telling people something, and then it's like you can see the light bulb go off, and it's fun watching that. It's fun seeing that.
Yeah, I've said, me not being a racer, believe it or not, I've sat in the back of the room enough to see guys, like you said, that light come on. They're like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that or whatever. You ain't been doing that. I need to do that, So, something last minute too. And I told Chad this. I always try to make these classes an event. So I know Chad talked about we'll have some kind of cookout or something. A lot of that will be talked about later. I know you're not coming for that, but when you go to Meridian, Mississippi, you're probably not going to have any kind of nightlife or anything. So we'll try to have some fun stuff to do. We'll have a good lunch, and then maybe on that Saturday night we'll all try to get together and maybe have. He said something about a crawfish bowl. I don't know if some of them guys from up north probably don't even know what a crawfish is. You know it?
I don't eat them, so I just eat the sausage and the potatoes out of it. We make Jason Jackson cook all that. I'm sure he's watching. So
Yeah, we'll make them. I don't know if I can eat them, but we'll figure something out.
yeah, that's right.
Chad, listen, bud, I appreciate your time. We'll get you back on again later on in a few months and kind of see how your season's going and when we get a little bit more info on the class. But everybody will know a month ahead of time, and probably sometime in September is when we will roll this deal out. No way on the crawfish. That's probably Dave Hammond, I'm sure. He don't eat nothing but potatoes and a Pepsi, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chad, appreciate it. Tell your wife I said thanks for letting you jump on here tonight. I know you got kids and stuff, and I got a wife and a granddaughter in there hollering at me. So we'll jump off. Anybody got any questions for me? I'm available like Chad is about the class or time. Whatever I can help you with, I'll do it. You can always reach me on Messenger on Facebook. It's probably the easiest. You can also text me. My phone number is everywhere. It's 479-461-7561. So anybody's got any questions, reach out to me. Try not to wear Chad out too much. He's trying to build race cars and be fast this year. So any question about the class, y'all reach out to me. Chad, appreciate it again.
I got one question I want to answer. A lot of people, we've been having a lot of questions on the number change on our car.
Okay. I was going to ask that.
The 54 is Richie. He's my business partner. It was his number, and a guy named Jeff Worley he's around Livonia, Georgia, owns this car. Like, we built it for him, and he was supposed to take it and let somebody else, or his driver was going to drive it and all that. And 2 years ago, we got it done, and he said, "What are you doing for nationals?" I said, "Well, I'm just going to watch." And he said, "What do you think about putting my car together and us racing it?" And I said, "Well, I'm good with that if you want to do it." So we did it, and it's been pretty much a match made in heaven, I guess. And his number was 9, and he's been very, very, I don't even know how to say it. He's been very giving to us and letting us do what we want to do with his equipment and his money, because we have all the money that we won with the cars in a bank bag that my wife keeps up because I don't do money. And so, I mean, he was fortunate enough to let us run Richie's number for the last couple of years. And this year we kind of just said we was going to put his number on there to honor him for letting us do what we do with his equipment, pretty much just being the face of our business with his car.
That's great. Great.
So,
Chad, like I said, I wondered that now. So you answer my question. That says a lot about you and your personality and what kind of person you are. So that's good info. Chad, thanks again. Thanks everybody who watched tonight. And this will stay up on the Racelogic page. So anybody wants to come back and watch it later or whatever, it'll stay up there. And I think Kate also puts it over on my YouTube page. And I'm like Chad. I'm not great on technology. I let somebody else do all that. Kate Dillon does all my websites and all the behind the scenes stuff because I'm not that guy. Yes, but we'll jump on here again, like I said, in a few months, kind of see how the season's going, and we should have more info about the class by then. All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.